of the Hammer, a podcast about Warhammer, the Games Workshop.
Hello, Hammerheads. This is Michael. I'm sitting here with... Who am I sitting here with?
Wes, as usual.
And Seth.
And Tila's not with us this week. She's sinus infection?
I don't even know. She just feels like death and looks like death. So
She's got a little bit of Grandpa Nurgle going on.
yeah.
So we excused her. And instead of sitting here and just feeling miserable, we figured we'd let her take a week off. So, you know...
Could reference the new Malign story. Elder Bones is calling her.
Yes, exactly. But as always, we want to welcome you to the podcast. We're here for episode 38. And as always, we are brought to you by the South Georgia Wargames Association. The SGWAs are the best miniature players in South Georgia. Get their game on. And by Broken Brush Gaming. And Wes, I kick it over to you.
Broken Brush Gaming is a local commission paint service here in South Georgia. If you are looking to have a project painted or built or any of the other parts that go along with this hobby, or you just have questions and want some answers about working on your own projects, you can send me an email or you can reach me on Twitter. On Twitter, it's at broken_brush, or you can send me an email, brokenbrushgaming@gmail.com. Also on Facebook, Broken Brush Gaming.
He's all over the place.
I try to be.
As he should be.
He should be. The way that all those models look are amazing. In fact, you just showed me the Skaven thingamajiggy.
My Warlock?
Yeah, your Warlock.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Night.
Yeah, that was awesome.
The picture didn't do him justice.
Oh, did he bring that one too?
Well, I was at his house last night and got to see it in person.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that one on the table. I mean, not to be on the other side of the table from it. I just can't wait to see it on the table.
He doesn't do anything.
He has a gun that shoots once.
So modest.
I don't know. He's put a few wounds on me. He's got
a spell. It's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk hobby before we kick off with the real meat. And I'm going to kind of keep low on the real meat until we get there. So we'll probably let it slip anyway. But what you got going on, Wes?
Let's see here. Like I said, took a little time for myself again this weekend. Worked on my Arch Warlock Crack Scuttleclaw for my Skaven Scryer Warband. Yeah, it was fun. I like the color scheme that I've come up with. I say that I've come up with it. They paint a lot of stuff this way, but like red cloaks and black hoods, black armor, whatever's on top is black. So I got to go back and redo my Storm Fiends now, because they've got blue armor. But thankfully they have red loincloths, so I just got to redo the armor.
Yeah, but you can get to black from blue.
Oh yeah, just put black paint over it.
I mean, he gets to black from gray.
Yeah, so, you know.
That's easy.
And he gets to light blue from brown, so...
No, that's heresy.
I think he gets to white from black.
Always.
It's color extractor.
Don't do that. It's a bad idea. You'll hate your life. Let's see, what else have I been working on? The Daughters of Cain project, I did a bunch of hair pieces this week. Which is pretty much just me doing Bane cosplay, because I've got my respirator on and my airbrush going, and I've got, some sort of really loud heavy metal going on in the background.
Very nice.
I got to see a couple of those last night as well.
Yeah.
They look really nice.
Yeah, I put that on, and I feel like Heisenberg going to do it, because I've got like an apron on, but like that's it. No, I wouldn't close on my apron. I do wear
family friendly.
I do wear an apron when I airbrush, because I don't want to get it on my clothes. But no, it's so I did a bunch of those, like 30 of them.
Wow,
getting them ready for the Witch Elves.
How close are you?
Well, like I said, it's all in stages right now. The Witch Elves are all put together, and there's some that are like just waiting on highlights. There's some that have like just the airbrushing is done. There's some that are like waiting on different parts to be done.
Nice.
It's one of those ones where like whatever I feel like, I try not to do it just in like step by step by step, because if I get to like let's say I've got a unit of 10 that's at the layering stage for skin, and I'm like, I really don't want to layer skin right now because it's just monotonous and boring. If that's what's up, then that's what I have to work on. But if I've got a bunch of things in a different place, I'd be like, yeah, I don't want to layer skin today, but I'll line highlight boots. Like, that's fine. And so as long as I'm getting something done,
right,
the project keeps moving. So, and that I was kind of in that stage where like, my hands are shaky this weekend. I don't really feel like pulling out a brush. I'll just airbrush a bunch of hair.
Airbrush hair. Hairbrush.
And so, yeah. Let's see here. I did start reading the third book, finally, of Powder Mage Trilogy, The Autumn Republic. And that series is going to end in a crazy way, I can tell.
I almost picked up book 1 about a week ago, and then told myself, you are an absolute idiot. Because I've got way too much law to read right now to think about starting a book. Yeah. So I held off. But
and then we had some weird games this weekend.
Yeah, we did.
I'll just get into like this game that Seth and I played, and then we can talk about the big ones. So we did some Path to Glory stuff again, and Seth and I played a game where we got the cornered scenario, and it ended up that Seth was the cornered player, and I was the one, and he was trying to get off the board.
Yep.
Well, the thing that stinks when you're the cornered player is you have to split your warband up into equal parts, and then your opponent gets to stick your leader in one of those groups, and the other group just doesn't show up.
Doesn't show up. They're gone.
Yep.
Yeah, which, I mean, for Seth's army wasn't that because he could still summon.
Yeah.
But I think we both forgot about that.
Yeah.
Early on.
Not used to it.
So forgot that my army can summon too. We'll get to that.
Yeah, footnote on that one.
You remember that later.
I did. But basically, Seth did a good job of running away from my Storm Fiends, but then I got priority on.
Yeah, it came down to priority. I mean,
just managed to get everything in range and just laid all of the murder sticks onto his Necromancer.
Yeah, that 5-up save wasn't going to do much.
Yeah, I mean, it was like all the spells, all the Storm Fiends, like everyone was in range just to
surprisingly resilient. I mean, I know death is, but for that small of a warband, it was surprisingly.
But that was a interesting scenario. Definitely, we were playing it on a half table because Mike and Ryan were playing on the other half of the table. We had 2 games
going at the same time,
so we had to modify it a bit.
And Ryan and I finished our game in time for me to watch the end of y'all's.
Right? Yeah, your game ended so ridiculously quick that I was confused. As to how, because the board was still filled with your models. I was like,
yeah, I didn't understand.
But
I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, it didn't take long, and I won, but I shouldn't have won. Spoiler alert.
But yeah, that's been my hobby for the week.
Anything else? Nope. Seth?
Oh, that's just mine. I played that game, and then the big 4-player game that we had.
Do you have your death stuff yet?
I'm still waiting on my Skelly Boys to come in, so I can just spray paint the tar out of them and be ready to go.
You don't even have to spray paint those guys.
Gray plastic. I'll just spray paint a little more gray over it and some black highlight.
Spray gray.
A black highlight?
Yeah, black highlight. Okay. Yeah. I know how to paint.
We're going to have a talk.
Start your highlighting with black. It's perfect. Yeah. That's the way to go.
That's what I do. So it's how you create shadows.
Yeah, not highlights, though.
That's how I'm going to paint the Nighthaunt when they come out.
With black.
Yeah, they're going to be shadow haunts.
No, you know what? That really gives me an idea. Like, it would be super cool to do, like, a gray monochrome, like, basically if they were just drawn in, like, if you were drawing them in charcoals.
Yeah.
So if you just did a monochrome, nothing but blacks to whites and all the gray grading in between for a death army and made it a black and white army, that would look super cool.
That would look pretty
cool.
See,
that's what I'm going for. You just put it so eloquently and use painting terms.
Right.
Like not saying black highlights.
Besides spray paint can.
Well, no, I mean, that's the thing. When you do a monochrome army, like, it sounds easy, but it's really tough.
I would imagine.
Because you got to be really good at those black and white transitions. But
and you got to make them look uniform.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Every shadow's different.
Books?
I mean, yeah.
Movies?
No books, no movies for me.
Dang, man.
I know.
What have you been doing? Working?
Working in D&D.
Yeah.
4 nights out of the week now.
A lot of that.
Been doing a lot of that. Okay, so to me, hobby. Well, this hobby is not at all Age of Sigmar related. But we didn't talk about hobby last week.
We didn't.
There are other hobbies besides D&D and
well, it's not Age of Sigmar.
Age of Sigmar? Oh, yeah, sure.
But weekend before last, my son-in-law came over on Friday while I was at work, built a frame for my flat screen TV, and cut a hole in the top of my big, huge 4x8 table, And then Saturday, he came back over, and he and I worked on the rest of it. Got the frame anchored in, got the TV set in, got a whole new base built for the table and everything. And so now our gaming table, which still has its huge Mongo battle mat, 4 foot by 8 foot battle mat for being able to draw maps on, the TV on it, plexiglass over that, can still roll our battle mats for AoS over the top of it. But when we play D&D, we can hook the TV up, pull our maps right up to the table or images or whatever. And we pretty much had a pretty good blast with that this weekend.
So the next thing we need to do is get a 4x6 TV that we can make them flat maps for AoS for the 4x6 table.
For the 4x6 table.
Yeah. And then just put terrain on top of that.
On top of that.
I like that.
Because that would, that's doable. That'd be crazy.
That's totally doable.
I don't think they make TVs in that orientation.
I don't think they do. Not quite.
Yeah.
It'd be great for the maps that are coming out, though. Put a pin in that for later.
But it is super cool, like the gaming table. We'll have to.
I'll post some pictures on. I haven't.
You did
yet.
post a few somewhere.
I just threw some up on like Twitter and.
I think you put some on the SGWA page.
Maybe the SGWA page. But I'll throw some up on the Age of the Hammer page. I hadn't yet because I hadn't talked about it, and since it really didn't have to do with Age of the Hammer, I wanted to wait until I actually talked about it because that was my hobby like 2 weeks ago. This week I've been pretty busy and haven't gotten as much hobby done this week. I did get just a little bit of painting done, but not really even enough to speak of. Did play the game with Ryan, though. Same time that you and Seth were playing your game, it was also Path to Glory. Ryan, our buddy who's been out of town, he used to be on the podcast on a regular basis. He was going to try to make it tonight, but he had, his cousin had end of year concert with the school system. So he was going to that and couldn't make it to the podcast tonight. But he's back in town now, and it's good to have him back. He and I lined up and played. He was doing Beast Claw, and I was, of course, doing my Fire Slayers. And we got the one, I'm not sure I remember the name of it right. Vendetta? Vendetta. And so basically, after you set up, you each pick a unit from the other person, from your own army, to be the unit that's got the Vendetta. Well, I, of course, picked my Hearthguard Berserkers.
Oh, yeah.
And put both of my heroes within the range of them. So he'd have to take out both heroes for them to lose their buff to their ignore wounds. He picked one of his Thunder Tusks. He was fielding 2 Thunder Tusks and a Hunter. Nasty. Especially for the scenario we were playing.
Yeah.
So, he already had his list before we picked the scenario, so I don't want to give the impression that he spiked his list for it. He had his list. We rolled randomly for the scenario, but it ended up being a nasty list for it. We rolled for priority, and I was like, I really need to get priority. He won priority. So, he didn't really move a lot, maybe just a hair for a little bit of positioning, and launched all of his shooting at me. It would hit my single 5 Fire Slayer unit with both of the Thunder Tusks. They're uninjured, 6 mortal wounds.
That's 12 total.
That's 12 total. I ignore on a 4 up. Meaning statistically, 6 out of the 12 should have gotten through.
Oh, a 4 up. That's nasty. Mortal wounds.
Yeah. But statistically,
Better than Nurgle.
6 should have gotten through.
Yeah.
3 got through.
Wow.
I spiked my rolls. I did that was the only thing that saved me. He did his other shooting because he had like his spears and stuff like that. Didn't hit with any of them.
Oh.
So then it was my turn. So I used my rune that gives me the movement because I needed to close on him. So my guys had 8-inch movement, and I just barreled across the table. Got my Magma Droth within about 5 inches of his Thunder Tusk that was the unit I needed to kill. Through all my shooting that I was in range of at that Thunder Tusk, got it down to about 4 wounds left. I was like, alright, I can finish this. Get this charge off with my Magma Droth. Snake Eyes.
Oh, yeah. I turned over just in time to see that.
Just in time to see the roll.
That was great.
Yep.
I think I yelled vengeance or something like that.
Yeah. So we come down to priority. roll, I get priority. And I just shot him off the table.
Yeah.
And that was the game. Because all you had to do was kill that one unit. And you won a major victory. But, holy cow, I so should not have won that game. I should have been dead. Turn 1. He had the list for what the game was.
Yeah.
And since we're doing starting war bands, there just wasn't that much on the table.
Yeah.
And I, of course, yes, I set him up within range because I knew I had to get to him to kill him. I couldn't let those things keep hurling 6 mortal wound snowballs at me while I'm trying to cross the whole table. So I placed as far forward as I could, which immediately put me into range, but I had to take that gamble. So that was my game.
Yeah. Well, then we ended up playing a 2v2.
Yep.
And we realized we had all 4 Grand Alliances. So
yes, we did.
We put those together in weird combinations. So it was Chaos and Death with me playing Skaven and Seth playing...
Grand Host and Nagash.
Yeah, Grand Host and Nagash.
As much as you can play in a...
Right, yeah. It was a something of Nagash.
Yeah.
Not much of a Grand Host. It ended up being a Grand Host.
It did.
That's why it's called a Grand Host.
Yeah. And then, so that was against Mike and Ryan playing Destruction and Order, which we justified the Destruction Order because Mike's playing Fire Slayers. Whoever gave them the most Urgold.
The ogres had some Urgold. we were willing to fight with them.
And so we ended up getting the sacrifice scenario, and it ended up that Mike and Ryan had to pick the sacrifice target.
Yeah.
So they picked Mike's Magmatroth, stuck it in the middle of the board. Then Seth and I deployed everywhere. And they got their zone. They deployed, and
that was that was a crazy fun game. But that was a really tough game playing 2 armies that could do no summoning
versus 2 armies
versus
that realized
that could both do summoning.
On turn 2 that they could do a lot of summoning. And so my Warlock, I was like, I looked over, and at one point I don't remember why I remembered that Skaven are Chaos and they can summon, but I did. And I looked over, because I don't remember what it was, but I was like, wait, I'm Chaos. I could summon a Bloodthirster.
Yeah, you got keyword Chaos, keyword Wizard.
Yeah.
Chaos Wizard.
And Ryan goes, do you got the Bloodthirster model? And of course, I look right across the room and go, I could summon a Lord of Change.
That's my son's Lord of Change.
As I see the Lord of Change that I painted sitting on the shelf. And so I did not summon a Lord of Change. I could have.
I kind of hate it, because that model looks so freaking amazing on the table.
Yeah.
I wish I had summoned it. So anyway, I decided to summon Flamers, because I was like, that won't be super cheesy. They could be Warp Flame. Somehow it narratively fits. I don't know. And I rolled a 12.
As soon as he said Flamers, I was like, oh, we're screwed.
So
he's like, that won't be so bad. I'm like, yeah, it will.
Yeah, then I started looking at the rules, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, until you spiked it and summoned twice as many.
I rolled a 12 and got a unit of 6 Flamers on the board.
Yeah.
Which summarily wiped out a Thunder Tusk.
In a heartbeat.
To be fair, I only summoned 1 unit of Morghast.
I think you summoned 2 units.
No.
Oh,
I only summoned 1.
Oh, that's right. 1 came
But when it died, it just came back.
Yeah, it just came back. Yeah, that's right, because your command ability. Yeah, that was gross. There was, just lots of more gas all over the place. Basically, all you have to do is wipe out the other crew to get a major victory, which I think those rules are skewed. Like, somehow you should have to get the thing killed, you know?
Yeah, because there's actually a chance you don't succeed the ritual even if you wipe out the other army.
Yeah, there is a chance, eventually, the Morghast just slammed into the Fire Slayers and just ate them.
Yeah.
I mean, it was...
They soaked one charge, and then they couldn't soak the other one.
I had to put one of my heroes as the sacrifice.
Right, and it ended up being...
Because otherwise I had a 1-wound model, and you just killed him first.
I mean, you could have put your general, your other guy up there.
Well, he's got 5. He still just dies.
Well, I still have to do 1
It's
every
1 per turn for that.
1 per turn.
Okay, round 2 he dies.
No,
because it's D3.
No, it's only D1. I mean, it's only 1.
He just gets 1. I think if they have to have more than 6.
If they have,
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember what
well, that's probably
was.
what we should have done then. But,
But
it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
Because the deal is that with the Fire Slayers, I'm buffed by my heroes.
Yeah.
I had to put one, because we couldn't afford
We didn't have to put a hero. You could put a Thunder Tusk up there.
Yeah, but we needed those mortal wounds. I mean, that's the problem, and that's the quandary we were in.
Yeah.
To explain it, whatever is the captive can't do anything
unless you get up there to it and rescue it.
Right, but you've got to be able to get up there to it to rescue it. So if we put a Thunder Tusk, we're losing 6 mortal wounds on a 2-up.
That's true.
If we put my Magmadroth, the Magmadroth's got y'all are playing for the most part small units, he's not likely to get his fiery screen breath.
Well, I was thinking too is you guys didn't try to charge in and get it.
Oh, well, yeah, I did.
Well, you did.
I got blocked by so much stuff.
That's true. That's fair.
Yeah.
Ryan didn't. He held back to shoot. But,
Right.
I mean, that was kind of our strategy. If
Yeah.
I could get up and one of my units shooting some stuff down and my other unit charge through, then we could push up to get closer.
Well, yeah, you guys had a chance too when Ryan pushed up and knocked out the
He killed my warlock.
the warlock who was spiking all of the sacrifice rolls, and then it was my turn.
If we could have gotten one or two of the... We missed all the priority rolls. If we could have gotten one or two of the priority rolls, it would have been a closer game.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure we would have won, but it would have been a closer game. We would have come closer to getting there to release it.
Yeah.
And if we'd released it, then that might have made a difference.
So you're saying that if we had tied, then it would have been better for you to have won the tie had we had the first turn and you didn't?
We're going to get into that.
No, that's the other way around.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, with that said, I mean, it's a fun scenario. It's really a blast. But when you're playing the Path to Glory games, you just have to accept that some of the scenarios, especially for certain army builds,
Well,
it's not going to be balanced.
Especially armies that can summon.
Well, yeah, because it's not match play.
Yeah.
Path to Glory is not match play, so you can just summon stuff and bring it up.
Yeah. I mean, that's
which is cool. I was having a blast with it.
I also can't wait until they'll probably touch on that by the time we record next week, because I know it's coming up in the next few days.
They mentioned that summoning was coming up
soon. I'm looking forward to seeing what they at least hint at
that
they're going to change.
They've already changed a few. We'll see what the main thing is.
So I guess that finishes up Hobby,
And once he killed my Rune Son, my units are back.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've got no resistance.
I just walked right through them.
Yeah. All right, so I think that takes care of Hobby. I haven't really read any books. I did watch Atomic Blonde. It was funny that
really?
Sheila mentioned that. Not the best movie in the world, but the last half is definitely more entertaining than the first half, because that's when all of the crap that everybody's got going on starts to reveal.
It's just too slow.
You know. But so I did watch that movie. Not much else as far as watching. So let's move to our topic.
Yeah, the show title tonight, I was really proud of the show title.
I was too.
So Mike was super busy at work, so I did the outline for tonight's show. So if it's totally chaotic and, as Seth put it, Cartman, whatever, I do what I want. That's because I did the outline, so there may be no order here. But the title of tonight's episode is AoS Part Deux, for all of you 1980s film buffs that remember Hot Shots. You'll catch that reference. But yeah, so AoS has a new edition coming out. Finally, 3 years in, yeah?
Yeah.
4 years in?
Three, I think, maybe 4.
You got me.
Yeah. Well, I think it was out. Was it out for a year before the General's Handbook came out?
It was out for a year before the General's Handbook came out.
So 3 years, yeah.
So 3 years.
So 3 years, and we got a new edition.
3.5.
That has been announced. That is supposedly going to be releasing in June.
In
so
June,
within a month, we should see the new edition of AoS.
Just in time for Origins.
Yeah. So there's those of you that Hammerheads, you probably follow Warhammer community just as much as we do, so you've probably read most of this and seen
none of this is really going to be new, but we got to talk about it.
Yeah, we just want to talk about it because that's what we do. We talk about Warhammer.
Yeah, about how excited we are about all the stuff.
So the first thing that we kind of noticed,
fanboys.
I know, right?
Yeah, the first thing that we noticed from the WarhammerFest Reveals, because this is when they announced all of this, was at WarhammerFest a few weeks ago. New models that will probably be what comes out in the new starter box.
Yep.
That's what I'm imagining.
That's the guess.
Yeah, I would guess that.
But new Stormcast Eternals, because we need more Stormcast Eternals.
But they're different.
They are different.
They're wizards.
They're wizardish.
They didn't have wizards, so now they do have wizards.
Adjacent.
Okay, so just from the aspect of storyline, I do kind of have a pondering, a thing that makes me go, Sigmar was pulling these Stormcast souls during as Chaos was beginning to conquer, and he was pulling the heroes up that he was going to reforge.
He was.
And there's an awesome story about that, too, that's been put out there. Yeah, but anyway, so he was pulling those up during that time period. Well, that time period's over, and it's been over for some time now. Mm-hmm. Where do these new Stormcasts keep coming from?
Pretty sure there's some bit of lore that Seth and I were talking about where he's just pulling up like regular schmoes that were just okay.
Yeah, it's based off of essentially the Sacrosanct lore, which is the engineers, the Magi priests, all them, and they tend the soul forges. And it turns out that not everybody is a glorious hero that died in battle praising Sigmar's name. Sometimes it's just the guy that got stabbed in the neck and was like, "Oh crap, that's my life." And then Sigmar goes, "Well, he didn't kill anybody. I'll take him.
He's all right."
Yeah. And essentially, if you're evil, you go to chaos. If you did bad things in life, but you weren't like a maniac, you go to death. And then if you were you're all right, Sigmar will take you.
Yeah, like you didn't kick dogs, so Sigmar will take you. You're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, I play the Stormcast. I like Sigmar, and I like Sigmar's army. But Sigmar's not a good guy.
No.
Read the story about I can't remember his name now. It starts with a V. The Malign story.
Yeah.
That one guy that guards the altar of Apotheosis. That story's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Stormcast are nasty.
Yeah.
But no, so the Sacrosanct Chamber is
so
going to be the new chamber. And what they kind of look like was previewed with the Malign Portent's Harbinger.
Harbinger, right.
The way he's got like the cloak that's, almost like a tabard that starts up at his shoulders and covers sort of his whole chest. That's what a lot of them look like. They've got these big long tabards and
helmets, right?
There are some helmets. There are some no helmets. They also get their first piece of They also get their first piece of artillery, which looks strangely like a elven bolt thrower.
Yeah,
but apparently it hurls lightning bolts.
It's lightning.
Yeah, but I mean they're neat looking models. But I mean, to me, they're Stormcast.
I'm not a fan of the paint scheme. I don't like the Golden Boys. But
no, I feel it's I look at Stormcast a lot. Like I look at Space Marines. Don't paint your Space Marines as Ultramarines because it's just boring.
Yeah.
So don't paint your whatever that.
Paint them like mine
right.
because it's stupid easy.
Yeah.
And they look
and it looks
good.
cool.
It does.
Like they're like this steel blue gray thing that looks awesome.
I hate this, especially like the golden blue. That's fine, but then they put a white tabard over it.
It washes out.
Yeah, and it's just terrible.
Yeah. But yeah, paint your Stormcast some other chamber. Don't necessarily have to be the Hammers of Sigmar or whatever they're called, because they're boring.
Create your own.
Yeah.
Do something neato. But then the other new models, and these are the cool new models, there's all new Nighthaunt stuff.
Yes.
There's crazy Nighthaunt stuff.
Good.
There's dog-looking undead, and there's
they're rat horses.
Okay,
rat horses.
Rat horses.
So I have to share. I've shared this with Seth already. I have to share this with our listeners. So this release for the models for the Nighthaunts come out, and of course Seth's immediately like on our little messenger chat.
Right.
Is like, oh, I'm not going to be playing the Deepkin. I'm switching back to Death.
Yeah.
It's like 6 o'clock in the morning.
So my son sends me a text later in the day. Did you see the new Death stuff? He's off at school. He's at St. Kitts, out of country, going to veterinary school, and he sends me a message. Did you see the new Death stuff? And I was like, yeah, it looks pretty cool. As a matter of fact, you'd mentioned that you like Deepkin, but you didn't want to do that since Seth was doing it. Well, Seth's not going to do Deepkin anymore. He's going to do Death. Randy went, damn him!
Well, now we can do Deepkin.
Yeah, now you can do Deepkin.
Of course, I keep telling him, it's not a problem with 2 people doing the same list. No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, right. It's not that.
But
not that
some
big
of
of a deal.
the new Death models. There's this one that has his banner is a gallows pole with a noose hanging from it.
Yeah.
There's one that has like the Knight of Shrouds from the Harbingers.
Except he's on a horse.
He's got a horse model now, and the horse looks cool. The coolest one, the second coolest one, is the guy with the 2 big locks.
Yeah.
That look like they're morning stars, but they're just giant locks. He's going to beat the crap out of you.
And that's what he does. He beats the tar out of people with them.
But then the coolest model is the new Black Coach. The pictures of that thing that they posted from WarhammerFest, it looks like that thing's a foot long.
Yeah, it does.
From tip to stern.
It looks huge.
It is massive.
It's amazing.
And it looks awesome. If you haven't seen it out on the Warhammer community or other places,
go
look at this model. It is, like, I may just get one just to put it on my shelf. I don't play Death, but oh my goodness, it's cool looking.
I want to paint it. The model is amazing, okay, and I'm not going to downplay that. I just feel sorry for any Death players that have to transport that thing with their army because they decide to play it.
Oh yeah, because it looks
it's going to be
fragile.
a nightmare to transport.
Yeah, they're like the horses that are pulling it are like flying through the air, and it literally looks like they're connected by a sliver of plastic that you would shave off with your knife. It doesn't even look like substantial plastic. The whole thing
just held on by the ghost. It's going to have its own shoebox. I know.
It's just magic.
Seth will have it in a shoebox.
But yeah, so that's the new models that it looks like are coming. Well, some of the new models. There's tons of stuff that's still being previewed.
Lots of stuff.
There is one that they had previewed, and let me see if I can find the name. But the Sequitur Prime for the Sacrosanct Chamber.
Mm-hmm. Which one is he? Is he the mounted one?
No, it's the female that has the big shield and
right, yeah.
the Ghostbusters like soul sucking thing held in her hand. That model is going to be cool.
Yeah. So the next thing, and this probably is going to have some new models attached to it, but there's a new bit that they haven't really previewed yet. They've just talked about, but they haven't previewed like how it works or what it actually does. And it's called Malign Sorcery, and these are those. These are your new Purple Suns and things of that nature. They're models that are going to represent spells, apparently. And they did a preview of some of the pictures of them, and they look cool. Like, they're neat models that represent spells on the board.
They look pretty cool. And as concerned as I am, because I play a whole bunch of armies that don't have casting, with the new rules for Magic, those models look amazing.
Yeah.
They look good.
Yeah. You know what? You'll just have to dust off those Daughters of Cain that you bought.
Yeah.
Well, I got rid of the Daughters of Cain.
Oh, that's right.
I gave them to Tila.
You'll have to get more.
Yeah. I'll just have to play my old models, Daughters of Cain.
But yeah, so they've started just today, I think, on the Zinch preview. They kind of talked about one of those models, not what it's going to look like, but sort of how it works. The cogs.
Oh yeah.
So if you haven't, we're not covering the faction stuff today. We might do that in the future. But
yeah, they kind of mentioned it when they did the Iron Jaws, the what is it, Fearsome Maw or something like that.
Something like
that's coming out. That's going to be one of the spells.
Yeah.
They didn't really say.
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious by the pictures on Community which one that is.
Yeah,
it's the big giant fiery
maw
dragon head thing that looks like it could roll over an entire army and eat it. Yeah, that one right there that just popped up on Seth's screen.
Yep,
great radio.
I'm looking at it right now, guys. I don't understand.
I know, right?
Don't understand why you don't know what we're talking about.
But then kind of the other thing, and this is my favorite part, there's all kinds of new little Hobby Gubbinz that they're coming out with. There's new glazes.
Oh, those new paints are so pretty.
That are they're going to be like really good for doing like your Nighthaunt army. They're going to be really great for like tying together your blue, like your blue layering if you're doing the generic Stormcast colors with the blues on the shoulders and stuff. Great for just doing Warpstone. That's why I like them. Just lots of cool stuff. Glazes, if you are unfamiliar with glazes and you're painting, do yourself a favor and learn. This just makes your painting so fun because you can do really neat stuff with glazes. Some other things are coming out with some AoS Objective Markers. Remember when they released 8th edition?
Yeah, those are so cool.
40K. They released a box of Objective Markers. It was about $30. There's 6 of them in there, and they're really neat looking, really thematic for the board. Same kind of thing with AoS. There's a couple that look like treasure chests. There's one, I'm trying to remember what all they look like off the top of my head.
Yeah, one's like a big face, like an ancient ruin or something like that.
But yeah, so those look pretty neat if if you're into using Objective Markers and don't necessarily like kind of doing your own thing. Those are
a couple of treasure chests, some like warp stone that's floating, which is always my favorite.
Yeah. It's like chained to the ground.
Yeah. And then there's some new scenery stuff that's coming out. Some of the Azurite ruins, they've made them like double and triple heights.
But they're still apparently clicked together or clicked to fit.
Yeah, so it should all work together pretty easily with that. There's one other cool model if you're a Forge World guy, that Khorne Lord.
Oh my god, that thing is humongous.
They previewed that thing like back before Christmas at like Warhammer Day or whatever, and that thing is huge. They say it's the biggest kit they make for AoS, which is pretty big because that lizard thing for the Seraphon is huge.
Yeah.
That black coach looks huge too.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, that dragon looks super cool. Kind of makes me want to play Khorne.
Again.
That's looking not cool.
Not bringing that back, huh?
I know you're gonna like them when the new rules hit.
Yeah. So speaking of new rules, they started previewing some rules.
Yes, they did.
Come out.
Good segue.
Yeah. Well, you did it. I just picked up on it. I picked up what you put down. So yeah, a couple of new rules. Let's jump right into those. Yeah. So the first one that they previewed was turn priority. Now we know that turn priority is one of those things that you love it, you hate it.
You hate it.
You love to hate it.
I'm one of the ones that loves it.
I like it when I roll well. I hate it when I don't.
Yeah.
I have a real
and of course
fickle relationship with it.
All of our listeners, or I should say at least most of our listeners, there might be some people that actually are listening because they're new to the game. Each battle round you roll off for priority. Whoever rolls the highest gets to choose who goes first that round, which allows you to, if you went last the previous turn, to double turn your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Which is terrifying.
Which sucks if you're being double turned. Yes. And it's not so bad if you miss the double turn because you just went, your opponent's just gets like a normal, normal turn. So they adjusted it. That was the old rule. Wes, how's the new rule?
Yes, the new rule basically, when you roll priority, if you ever roll a tie, the person who went first in the previous battle round gets to determine the order. So it gives the person who might potentially get double turned a little bit of extra chance of that not happening.
Now, I'm going to point out, it actually gives them a pretty good chance of it not happening. You don't think about it, but rolling 2 dice, you get doubles 16.7% of the time.
You get doubles 1 in 10, right?
It's a 1 in 6.
Is it?
It's a 1 in 6. There's 36 possible combinations, and 6 of the combinations will be doubles.
That's true.
So 1 in 6, that's 16.7%. When you're rolling off against someone, that's a 50-50 shot. You got a 50% chance of rolling better than they do, basically, because you're both rolling the same size die.
It depends on what they roll, doesn't it?
If you're both rolling at the same time, you've got a 50-50 shot. If you wait for them to roll, your odds may shift. But you've got just as high a chance of rolling higher than them than you do lower. 16.7 off of that, you're down to about a 33% chance of double turning.
Of not double turning. Of
double turning. Yeah. So it greatly reduces the odds of a double turn.
I'm not good at math.
It's significant.
I'm not good at that kind of math, so I'm going to take your word for it. It seems like it should be less than that, but that also sounds to me like it makes sense. Yeah. So I'm going to take your word for it. It's a better chance.
I think I'm actually lying with statistics, but
I mean, they're gamer statistics.
Yeah,
they're close enough.
67% of all statistics are made up on the spot?
No, it's 73% of all statistics are made up on the spot. Get it right. No, but I think so there's that chance, what degree it is, and also I think it's nice because you can let someone take the double turn. I don't know that you ever would.
Well, if you've positioned yourself so that they're still out of position, then you would want them to.
But then they're going to have the
greater chance at the end of that next battle round.
Now, the only thing that may do this, and in a turn priority article, they talk about this just a little bit. They hint at it. They don't say much. But they say that persistent spells will interact with the turn sequence in an interesting way. So you may want
Which
to
we don't know what that interesting way is yet.
It's pretty crazy. From some of the previews that seem like they're persistent spells, both sides can interact with those persistent spells.
Right.
Which is also really crazy.
Yeah.
I
can't wait to figure out how that's going to work.
And one of them that they leaked, it's interact good and bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just want the Skaven persistent spell to be giant ball of warpstone. That's what it needs to be called.
Yeah, giant ball of warpstone.
Yeah,
that's
just giant ball of warpstone that just rolls around. No one has control over it. It's completely rando.
It just kills everything.
Yeah, it just murders everything on the board.
Yeah, and the fluff could be, it was 13 pieces of warpstone, but now it is just one giant piece of warpstone.
13 wedges of warpstone.
Formed together.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
So that takes us. So that was the first bit that they've previewed. The next thing that they've done, and this is really neat for my army. I don't care about this because I don't have command abilities, but everyone else probably cares about.
Not yet.
That's true. Well, I have the generic ones. There's new generic command abilities.
There are new generic command abilities.
So basically, command abilities. Your heroes that aren't your general can now use the command abilities that are on their war scroll.
Right.
Which is cool. Now, it's not like you can just willy-nilly do it all the time. There is a caveat. Command abilities now require a new resource that's called command points. And Mike and I were talking about this earlier, and I hadn't thought about it. Y'all may have already thought about it. But the way it's worded...
I'm going to tell you I already thought about it.
Yeah. So your general doesn't get one for free. It says every command ability requires the use of a command point.
Even your generals.
No, it doesn't say even your generals, but that's what it means.
That's what it implies the way it's worded.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which...
When the full rules come out, it may carve that out.
Now, on the surface, technically you could play it with no change because you get a command point. What it says in the previews, you get a command point every turn. My assumption is that means every one of your turns. But maybe not.
Maybe not.
It's a preview. Who knows how the wording there might be exactly.
There will be additional wording around it, but the way it's worded now in the preview, I will get a command point on your turn, and I will get a command point on my turn.
I thought it said extra command abilities cost 1, but then again, you know how your brain puts words into things.
I went and checked it.
Yeah,
when I was making up the
abilities
outline.
cost 1.
Yeah. And you also get one command ability or one command point at the start of the game for each War Scroll battalion that you're fielding.
Right. Now, Wes and I had a little bit of a discussion about this because this can be a point where it might unbalance a little bit because I was making the point it's easier for some armies to bring more battalions than it is for other armies.
Sure.
Which means they start off with more command points.
Yeah.
By the same token, most of those armies that can bring battalions easier are a little bit weaker armies anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you also get
who knows how that's going to pan out.
one extra command ability or command point for every 50 points you're down in your
Right,
list.
that was something else they did, yeah. So if you're playing 2,000 and you build up to 950, you get an extra one at the beginning of the game as well.
It's below the point?
Yeah, below
below your opponent's point.
Below the point allotment of the game.
Okay, all right. I didn't.
That'd be a reverse auction. I got 1950. I got 1940. I got 1930.
Well, I'll take this unit out.
I'll take this unit out.
Points.
Get all those command points.
But yeah, the reason I said I right now don't mind is because Skaven don't have tons of command abilities.
Right.
But this brings us to another neat thing that they've done with command abilities is they've created some new ones and they've modified the ones that we already know about. So Inspiring Presence now can be cast by your general, and it has to be within 12 inches, like normal.
Well, not just your general. Okay.
I get there.
Slow roll.
Sorry, I'm jumping.
Yeah, any of your other heroes can cast Inspiring Presence if they're within 6 inches of the unit. Now, here's the neat thing. You don't cast Inspiring Presence in the hero phase anymore.
No, you do not.
You cast it in any Battle Shock phase. So on your opponent's turn, in the Battle Shock phase, you can cast Inspiring Presence if you have a command point and meet the requirements of range.
Sure.
And it's cool because that gives you the ability to use it defensively, which I think is super neat.
And we talked about an instance that Battle Round 1 in a game against Randy when he was in town. He was playing Zinch. I was playing Dark Elves. My Daughters of Cain, basically. He got turn 1. And he just blasted one of my 20-man units with spells turn 1.
Yep.
Took 12 of them off. The rest of them evaporated to Battle Shock. Well, with this new command ability, using in Battle Shock phase, any Battle Shock phase, time for me to roll Battle Shock. Nope, they're immune. You still have 8 models there to contend with. They're still blocking you on that flank.
Yeah, I really do like the defensive ability that you have with that.
And it gives you a recourse if you've got a unit that's going to pop on round 1 before you even got a chance to go and activate any command abilities. You can still protect a unit.
But it's also better than they're immune all the way until your next hero phase. Right. And then you just do it again. So you have a permanently immune.
With the chain, let me tell you, here's the thing though, think about it. Even though they have they've lowered the likelihood of the double turn, that was one of those saving graces of getting double turned was, all right, I put my command ability on, this is going to last through both of your turns with double turn.
Right.
So that'll be interesting. See how that works out.
Yeah, it will.
And that actually does lend credence to the fact that you might get one command point every single turn.
Could be.
Because these can be used in other turns.
Yeah, because you can hold it on for your double turn where you just pop all the points you've been holding on to, or you're just trying to stay alive. Let me keep popping the one that I get every turn.
Yep.
But there's 2 other generic command abilities that all heroes get access to as well.
Which are pretty cool.
One is called At the Double. You use this command ability after you make a run roll for a friendly unit that's within 6 inches of a friendly hero, or within 12 inches of a friendly hero that is a general. If you do so, the run roll is treated as being a 6.
I'm so glad it's finally after the roll.
Makes you want to play Deepkin again, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Run and shoot.
Run, do everything. But it's just finally like not basing it on before the roll. Well, I don't want to not do this. So it's like, I rolled? No, I did fail it? Okay, no. Now let me spend a command point.
Like, they didn't charge far enough. Go!
Yeah.
You know?
What are you doing? Why are you just standing there?
You don't haul, I will kill you myself.
Depending on which army you're playing.
Yeah.
Then the other one that you get is...
That's all armies.
Yeah. The other one that you get is Forward to Victory. You use this command ability after you make a charge roll for a friendly unit that is within 6 inches of a hero, or 12 inches of a friendly hero that is a general. If you do so, you can reroll the charge roll. So if you fail a charge,
that one I'm going to love with my Fire Slayers.
I'm going to love that one.
Because when I pop up with my 30 Volkite Berserkers and my Tunneler, and I've got 9 inches to get my charge off on you, with my Hornblower, so I can re-roll one of the dice, and my first roll is a 1 and a 3. You're just going to re-roll it.
Just re-roll the whole thing.
Just re-roll the whole thing.
Well, the question is, will you be able to re-roll that re-roll?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because
Technically,
immediately...
rules, and it's not a full fact.
Who knows? Yeah, that would be a
quick.
fact. But
I think if you're wasting a command point, you're spending a resource to do it. It's not like you're...
Yeah, probably.
It's not like you're re-rolling a re-roll on your own scroll.
So, it gives me that better chance of hitting
It does.
that
Sure.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even without that rule, when I bring in a warp grinder, and I've got 6 Storm Fiends rolling around behind him, bringing the warp grinder, I got 2 chances to make my 9-inch charge and just clobber the mess out of you with my Storm Fiends.
Right.
So, yeah. So those are new command abilities. I like them. I think they're cool.
I
Yeah.
do too.
I like the strategy that it's going to employ, especially the Inspiring Presence, and just how you're going to have to hold on to
The
the
fact that
points
they're
and
not
manage the
just
system.
in the hero phase either.
Yeah,
So,
it's a
that's
lot
really cool.
better than set it and forget it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to add some granularity, which I think
And,
is nice.
and the like you said, the Inspiring Presence, being able to use that in the Battle Shock phase of your opponent's turn, you're now doing something in your opponent's turn.
Right.
So that kind of keeps you engaged a little bit better.
So that brings us to the next rule. This one is something that we've talked about, something we thought was somehow needed. I don't know if this is how it's needed, because this rule is convoluted. The first time I read it, I was like, there's too many 3s in here. I don't know what they're talking about. But this is the new Lookout Sir rule, which is neat. They needed something like this. Basically, it says, you must subtract 1 from hit rolls made for missile weapons if the target of the attack is an enemy hero. That's not the end of the sentence. That is within 3 inches of an enemy unit that has 3 or more models. The Lookout Sir rule does not apply if the target hero is a monster.
That makes sense.
It makes sense now that I've read it a few times and thought about it.
Basically, your hero has to be close enough to one of his allied units to be able to benefit for it. If he's out there on his own, nobody can get to him to shield him.
Yeah, and so the thing that Mike and I have talked about pretty extensively is the idea of this closest unit like they do in 40K. You can't target the hero unless it's the closest unit. This way, it doesn't matter if he's close. I can still have my hero out in front so that he's the one that can lead the charge. It's narrative. It's thematic. I don't have to have my hero lead from the back for this rule to take effect.
Especially with a fantasy type battle, because your leaders did lead from the front.
Yeah. Well, your general might sit in the back, but the other heroes...
The heroes led the charge. They were the
Yeah.
spearhead.
And so this is cool. I have my hero in the front, and as long as I got my unit of 10 or 20 dudes behind him, then you got to subtract
You're
one
going
to
to
hit
have a
it.
harder time hitting.
Yeah.
He's not immune.
No.
You're not just passing wounds off to him.
Right.
But he's harder to hit.
Yeah, it's just that somebody else may jump in front. And I like it.
No, somebody just yells, "Look out, sir!"
Yeah, just push him out of the way. Yeah, I like that it's not... I like that it's not a wound transference either.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of armies. Death can do that. Scryer can do that.
Fire Slayer can do
Fire
that.
Slayer can do it. The transferring wounds, I think, is... I like that is left specifically to the armies that have those special abilities. And this is just it's just harder to hit them.
Oh, man. I'm so going to lead my army with my Runefather now, though.
Oh yeah.
Because you're -1 to hit him, and if you do, I'm going to transfer it.
Is he the one that's... Is he on foot?
The one that can do that is on foot.
Okay,
yes.
yeah. Oh, that's gross.
Yeah. He's
Oh.
got that axe that does 3 wounds, too.
Oh,
He's just going to be my spearhead.
just got to find it. You got to hit him with the things that don't require a hit roll.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like the Thunder Tusk Snowball.
Yeah, and he'll just transfer him.
Yeah, that doesn't require a hit roll. It just, you roll a 2 up. That's not a hit roll on the War Scroll.
And always put him with the Auric Hearthguard, the Hearthguard Berserkers, so that
Oh,
when
I
he
know how you
transfers, they ignore it.
Yeah, I know how you do. No, see,
Nasty.
we're about to talk about how we're going to deal with that. So the last bit of new stuff just came out today, actually, is the new changes to magic.
Yes.
These are neat.
Or the magic that already exists anyway.
These are neat, but they're kind of scary.
Yeah, some of them are scary, some of them are silly. Yeah, whatever. So the first thing, they have changed our 2 common spells that every wizard knows. Arcane Bolt and Mystic Shield.
Right.
They still cast on the same value that they used to, so 5 for Bolt and 6 for Shield.
But what they've changed is Arcane Bolt now is a casting value of 5, 18 inches to a unit that is visible to them. The unit suffers 1 mortal wound. If the casting value was a 10 or more, the unit suffers D3 mortal wounds instead. Basically just makes it a little bit weaker spell.
Right.
But as Mike and I were talking about, 33% of the time you're only getting one wound.
You're only getting one anyway.
Because it's D3. So weaken that one a little bit, but not extremely weak.
What's going to suck is when you roll the 10 or higher and you roll the 1 anyway.
Yeah.
That's what's going to suck.
Yeah, that's what's really going to hurt. So that one's a slight change. And on Mystic Shield, instead of adding 1 to your save rolls for units that are Mystic Shielded, you just get to reroll save rolls of 1. That's a big change.
Yeah.
Because you may never get to do that.
Right.
Whereas the other way it was added. Now, the reason they say they're making this change is because they want the magic phase, or the hero phase, the magic, to be more varied. And each army to be sort of its own thing.
Right. Well, and to use more of the lore spells and bring uniqueness to your army. Even though, like if all 3 of us were playing Zinch, our armies are different because we're picking from the lore instead of all playing the same.
Well, no, the real reason that they changed that one, so the Nighthaunt can benefit from it.
That's the real reason?
Yeah, that's the real reason.
Why?
It's not modifying your save roll at all because they're ethereal. They can't have a modified save roll. You're just rerolling 1s on your save roll.
Oh, you're talking about Mystic Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Why they changed that?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's what they did. It's just for the Nighthaunt.
just
That's the only reason.
Nighthaunt.
That's the only reason they changed it.
But my argument to this was...
That's probably why the Nighthaunt rule was written that way, because they already knew this was coming.
Happening.
Yeah.
But, I think the argument that I had with this is you're already seeing varied spells. I know in our meta, people that we play against, if you have a spell lore...
If you've got a spell...
Like from Battletech.
Army. If you've got an army that is casting a lot of spells, you're already pulling from the lore.
Yeah, and you're like, the only times that you're really using Mystic Shield or Arcane Bolt is because you've still got a spell slot left to use, but you don't have any other
spells,
faction-specific spells that you can use. So you're like, well, I might as well use. So you're going to be using these spells anyway, and now they're somewhat reduced. Now, the new edition could give you access to a lot more spells.
There's going to be a lot more spells.
Well,
I mean, they've already
there's 49 new ones coming out.
I mean,
that's the other big thing that's changing.
There's a lot more spells to choose from.
There's new lores of magic that are going to be associated to each realm. And the one that they hint at,
and one just kind of and this is just a pure out there fantasy, suppose, on my part, because when you and I were talking about it, because one of the things we mentioned was the casters, the heroes that have multiple spells they can cast per turn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't know, because we're saying, you're going to have a lore spell, but then you need to be able to cast these, and they're not as good. So you have a lore spell and what's on your war scroll for them.
Yep.
But if they can cast 3 spells,
they may get to pick extra lore spells.
Then they're going to have to pick one of these not so good spells to cast during their turn.
Yeah.
Well, except I mentioned, I was like, well, we really don't know. You may be able to pick lore spells up to the number of spells that you can cast per turn for the wizard.
That'd be
so
neat.
A wizard that can cast 3 spells may get 3 choices from lore plus the base spells. I don't know. That's just pure supposition.
They'd have to augment Nagash a bit.
Yeah, well, he just knows everything.
He would know everything.
Literally, Nagash knows every spell in the game.
Yeah, might as well.
But yeah, so basically, they're going to have these lores that are specific. So you're really going to be picking the realm that you're playing in, and trying to.
Oh, because we're going to do a narrative.
Oh, sure.
Map battle eventually.
We're going to have to, when this releases, we're going to have to do a narrative map battle, basically a tour of the realms.
Yep.
Yeah. But the one that they preview is called Banishment.
Mm-hmm.
We'll never do it.
But this spell's called Banishment. It can be used in the realms of Hish, which is the realm of light. The wizard seals the enemy inside an impenetrable crystal prison that carries them away across the battlefield. Banishment has a casting value of 8. It's pretty high.
Yeah,
but
what it does.
Not for Zinch.
No, not for Zinch. If successfully cast, pick an enemy unit within 12 inches of the caster that is visible to them. You got to be pretty close. Remove that unit from the battlefield and set it up again on the battlefield more than 9 inches from any models from the caster's army and more than 24 inches away from the caster. So just take your Hearthguard and be like, yo, go over there and I'll kill your hero.
Yeah, get away from me.
Get out of here.
Well, that's also used when they're either about to charge your caster or they have engaged your caster and you survive. You're like, no, I do not want to go through another combat phase with you. Yep. Go away.
Go away.
Yeah, please go away. But so it's going to be. I'm really interested to see what all these new spells are. I mean, 8 realms. That's possibly 64 new spells.
Yep.
So that's interesting. Now, the one other thing that changes, and this is interesting. I like this change, sorta, and then sometimes maybe I don't like it. But unbinding has now been changed to 30.
30 inches.
I like
that.
I think it's going to make unbinding way more useful.
Well, I mean,
sure.
I can't even count the number of games that unbinding didn't even come into play because the wizards were never close enough to each other
right.
to use it. And so neither person could unbind what the other one was doing. It was just, we'll just roll your dice, see if the spell goes off.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which takes a tactic out. Because if I've got wizards in range, then I'm having to decide, do I want to try to unbind with this guy?
Well, so that's the thing was, if you think about it, if I was getting an unbinding range, then I was in Arcane Bolt range.
Yeah.
Which means, do I move myself up to where you can just get some free mortal wounds on me?
That's right.
I like it, but I really only like it for the first turn. I think you should have a chance to unbind some spells in the first turn, because sometimes when you can just, in higher point games, unleash all of your buff spells on your people, send them out there, and then you're good to go. There's
in the case of Zents, you just unleash hell on the enemy before they even turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, it's going to be, you're going to have to position your guys in such a way that they don't necessarily get unbound.
Yeah.
Often.
Sure.
You know, if you're playing armor like Zents, you don't care. You're going to have way more spells.
You're still going to get, your opponent's going to be picking and choosing which ones they're trying to unbind because you're just able to throw too many at them.
Yep. But I mean, the neat thing is, and they preview this, the Cygor for Chaos will be, it's going to apply to his unbindings as well. So that means your non-wizards that have an unbinding property, so like lots of corn stuff, collars and whatnot.
It's going to be
30 inches.
Yeah, you're going to have 30 inches on this.
Yep.
So that's going to be super useful for those armies that maybe don't have a lot of magic, but they do have some non-magical unbindings.
Yeah,
it's going to help them a lot.
Unlike mine.
You don't need anything.
You don't need them. 4 up mortal wound ignored.
I might after this releases, but we'll see.
Yeah, so that's what has been previewed up until this point. Obviously, they keep doing a faction focus and sort of a new rule roughly every day.
Yeah.
They've done most of the Chaos factions or the Chaos God factions. I think maybe they've gotten them all.
They haven't done Khorne, have they?
Yeah, they did Khorne.
They did Khorne.
Yeah, Khorne's going to be nasty with that new hero.
Oh, the command
hero,
abilities.
It's going to be able to stack up like crazy.
Yeah. Chaos is done. Destruction's halfway done.
They did Iron Jaws. They haven't done Skaven yet. They've done Slaves to Darkness and Ever Chosen. That was the first one.
Slaves to Darkness released, and Randy messaged me and said, "See, I told you," because we were having armies and lists were basically going to slowly fade.
Oh no!
Because they hadn't released anything, and I was like, if they don't do new models, if they don't do a book, it's going to slowly fade away.
Was Randy thinking about doing Chaos? Because I was totally going to do Chaos.
Yes, he was totally thinking about doing a Slaves to Darkness army.
But, I mean, cool.
And so, of course, he was like, told you so.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's going to be, obviously keep your eye on community over the next several weeks.
Yeah, I've got to get me a couple of Chaos Wizards for my Nurgle.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm still going to pick up Slaanesh if they ever release new models, which I'm sure they are because of the spoil.
There was a rumor mill that looked a lot
like Slaanesh. Yeah, so, probably won't be.
I'm going to pick up some. I'm going to pick up some of those.
I think the one that looked kind of like a Skaven blade is actually still Slaanesh.
I'm sure it's definitely not Skaven.
No, it's definitely
not Skaven. No one's ever going to bring rats back.
No, I'm going to play the old rats. And
it was a grot blade.
Grot blade. That is too big to be a grot blade.
It was a grot blade.
They just went in real close on
it was super zoomed.
I don't know, it had like the nicks and everything in it. That could be Skaven, man. They don't take care of their stuff.
Grots don't take care of their stuff.
It's true. That's fair.
No, but I do like Slaanesh, though, with the flavor that they put into summoning, which I don't really think about Slaanesh summoning that much, but what do they call them? Decadence points or something like that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And basically, every wound that you deal that doesn't kill somebody and every wound you take that doesn't kill you those are your summoning points. You just add all those up together.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's awesome. So I can't wait to see what they do for Zinch and stuff like that.
Like the story where the guy tried to get the general to whip him again.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, and splitting those up into 3. Well, we'll talk about that next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
All the faction focuses.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there will be a Slaanesh book dumped right after.
Right after. That's what I'm expecting.
That Decadence point thing, you can't just like put that in the rules. That's
that's
an Allegiance ability.
Yep.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I'm going to have to start doing some repainting on my Slaanesh models.
Yep. Everybody's going to run Slaanesh.
Get that chariot together. That I've had up there for...
We'll roll up into the next con, just all Slaanesh and
Slaanesh.
some Skaven weirdos.
Yeah, never like Slaanesh.
Decadent Skaven.
Fast as all get out.
They are.
Amazingly fast. So, what do you guys think from the initial...
I like what they've
leaks?
done, you know.
Call it leaks isn't fair because they're intentionally...
Previews.
Yeah,
previews
previews.
better.
I mean, I'm wanting to see, I'm hoping that this week we see more of the phase changes.
Yeah.
So, like, how is movement different? How is shooting different? How is... because in that one video, they did tease, like, shooting out of combat.
Yeah.
Right.
No, they've definitely been going slow.
They did tease with the video that no more shooting out of combat.
Yeah, but we don't know what that means.
Yeah, he literally just said shooting out of combat.
It's gone. Yeah, shooting out of combat's gone.
But it was like he
now,
put a question mark on the
I
end
think
of it.
it means. I think it means that if you've got a shooting unit that's engaged in combat, they could shoot at the unit they're in combat with.
Sure.
Which is fine.
But they can't shoot at units that they're not engaged in combat
It
with.
makes sense.
That's what I think.
You're not going to shoot at the guy behind the guy punching you in the face.
Right.
Or you're not going to
You're
shoot.
not going to shoot across the board at the guy that's over there.
Yeah.
You're going to shoot at the guy that's about to chop your head off with an axe.
Yeah.
So that's what I think it means. And I've had no problem. We've even talked about that, whether or not to basically just home territory house rule that.
Yeah, we've been talking about that forever.
Since it came
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is stupid every time somebody does it.
And I'm the one that plays the shooting armies. And I've been like, I'm not opposed to doing that. Just don't take the shooting away from me completely, because that's what my armies do.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be interesting to see, because obviously some of these influences are from 840K.
Yeah.
They have not directly, not just all right, let's implement this rule. So yeah, I'm interested to see, especially like charge phase and fight phase, if there's going to be any kind of change.
You know what? I'm interested to see what they do with point cost for units.
I am too. They've been talking like a lot of stuff has gone down. They said Gordrak went down. All the Iron Jaws went down.
Yeah.
Nagash went down a while ago. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the points.
Well, and not just that. Are they going to make an adjustment to where, okay, like we've talked about before, okay, it's 130 for a unit of 10.
Can I buy one more?
If you've got 26 points left over after you build your army out, 13 points for each additional one that you put in there.
Yeah, which would be great.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be fabulous if they do that.
Yep. Although, with the fact that if your army is not up to full points, you
I
get
don't
an
think
extra
they're
command
going
point, they probably won't.
I don't think they're going to, but it would be nice if they did.
I mean, it would be nice, obviously...
I don't want it to the fine-tune of 40K where you have to pay for your different levels of equipment.
No, that was terrible.
Buy weapons.
Yeah,
Not AoS, I don't mind buying them in 40K. I know how it works, but...
Well, I mean, I've gotten to the point where I just enjoy being able to, I want to play this unit, this unit, this unit, this unit, and then I'm done with the calculations for my army and I'm ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that there are people out there that just love to spend hours mulling over and fine-tuning and trying to, tweak that list with all these little intricate points. If that's where you get your joy out of your hobby, more power to you.
Yeah, that's 40K.
Yeah, but I get the joy out of my hobby in getting the models together and painted and playing the game, not crunching math.
The thing that I like about that system for AoS is I still have to make those decisions.
Yeah.
Do I want to take the shield or do I want to take the other weapon? Do I want to...
You just don't have to
I don't have to worry about the points.
adjust your list because of point
The
difference.
dudes cost 200 regardless of which one I go with.
Right.
Yeah.
Which one of these options do I want?
Right.
Playstyle wise.
Yep.
And
which just appeals to me for the type of player I am.
Yep.
I don't want to spend 2 to 3 hours getting my list to work out number-wise. I just want to get the list.
Yeah, then you get into
Put the models on the table.
too much WYSIWYG on that one.
I've definitely spent hours just like poring over, whatever it's called, Battlescribe, build my older armies. And it's like, all right, I need to lose 5 points here. I'm 2 points over. Like, I can do this. Yeah, it's annoying.
But I need this weapon, so let me take this over here.
Right. And here's this is just an illustration of how important it is to me to be able to get my list done quickly to get the models on the table to play. That's really the main reason I don't play 40K.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend hours tweaking my list. I just want to throw models on the table and play a game.
Well, you can just play power levels.
What? Yeah.
Which are broken.
Yeah.
They're not good.
I've only played that once, but everybody that I've talked to that have played several games, they say it just doesn't work. It's not pointed out right.
Not built right.
But we digress.
We do, as usual.
But I mean, I actually like the 8th edition 40K rules, and I used to not like the 40K rules at all. I don't like the shooting at the way they've got the not shooting a hero thing. I don't like the way that works. Yeah. But there's always going to be something.
Yeah, I kind of wish they'd bring toughness into AoS just a little bit.
That is one thing I would love to see in AoS.
That'd be fantastic.
Probably not going to happen.
It's not going to happen this time.
Not this time around. Although that would be a bomb for them to hold back.
They did say like major things were coming.
That would be a bomb.
That'd definitely be a bomb.
They already got new war scrolls.
But you know what? Most of the players wouldn't be opposed to it.
I don't think so. Especially not the way it's done now in 40K. Old 7th edition, that was a nightmare.
Oh yeah, no, you can't hit me. Sorry.
Yeah, you just can't hurt me.
Yeah, I mean, I was okay with that, but
yeah, you're Eldar though.
That's a different story. Yeah.
Your opinion doesn't matter.
We can't hurt anything with Strength 3. Are you tough to 6? You can't hurt me. Tough to 7.
Well,
that's why I can't say anything. I play Necrons. I'm gonna hit you on a 6 regardless of what I'm shooting at.
Right. Yeah, I did Necrons for a while, and I
you get used to that.
Oh man, I just got to where I didn't want to play them because at least our local meta that we were playing, it was just like, yeah, I've still got most of my army on the table. That was a fun game. You want to play again?
Yeah.
It's like
I quit after the
just
flying
march
circus.
Slowly forward because you can't really kill me.
Yep. And if you do, I'm coming back.
Yeah. It's just yeah.
Necron's death. There's another theme here.
Yeah, right. Although, if I were to start another 40K army, it would be Necrons, because you can build those suckers out and paint them in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they look good.
They do.
So
I love the paint scheme.
You don't have to paint the little green tubes.
They're already green. Yeah. And they already look glowy.
Yeah.
So you're set. It's fabulous. I would play them again because of that. I wouldn't have to put much time into painting them. And Wes is cringing. It's like,
oh no, that's how I paint them too if I were to play them. Are you kidding?
It's like base, dry brush, a little bit of highlight, done.
Highlight?
Yeah.
You're getting a little too technical.
There are a few little glow ball things that you kind of have to get a little...
Oh, well, I mean, I'd go crazy on all the little green bits because the majority of it I didn't have to paint.
Yeah. So I don't go crazy on it, but I spent a little bit of time on it.
You saw like the little Almighty Warlord, that little orb on his back.
Yeah.
That's like 8 layers of greens.
Jeez. I don't even know that many
his
colors.
Sword, that was like 10 or 12.
And the amazing thing to me is he'll paint a model and do those number of layers and everything, and he paints it as fast as I paint one.
I know.
Doing like 2 layers.
I don't understand.
It's like, anyway, we need to wrap this up. We're over an hour. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, for the most part. There are a few things that kind of had me going, huh? And a few things that had me going, not so sure, but maybe. But most of it, I'm kind of like, okay, all right, I'm thinking I'm going to like this.
I love the new models. They're even the Stormcast, as much as I don't care about Stormcast.
I'm going to play Stormcast from now on, just for you two guys.
I mean, that's fine.
I mean, if you want to play
Sigmarines, do not call them Sigmarines.
They're bluish.
They're not Sigmarines.
But no, I like it. I like they're revealing little by little, and it's just ramping up day by day. So I think this weekend's going to be something major.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that it's going to come out the second week of June.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I think it's going to go on pre-order the first weekend.
See, I'm thinking pre-order second week, which means it drops on my birthday. Yes.
new birthday tradition
Right.
where the birthday boy buys everyone else
There
something.
you go.
Oh, this is not Germany.
There you go.
No, wait.
Started on yours, ended before
You know,
mine.
The old world was pretty much Germanic, so, we could carry it over to the new world.
No, absolutely not. You can all buy me Skaven stuff.
But you're just finishing that Daughters of Cain commission.
Mm-hmm.
I'll buy you that new Skaven release that's
Right,
coming
yeah, you
out.
buy me the Skaven release.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna laugh when they announce that next week.
Hilarious.
Because you
That'd be
said it
awful.
on tape.
I know, right?
The internet knows.
I know. Probably gonna have to work hard for a bonus here pretty soon.
Oh, you guys got anything else? Because I am
We
done.
we have made it to ramble mode.
Yeah,
so
we
should
are
wrap it up.
definitely rambling. I need to wrap up. All right, listeners, you can find us on Twitter. We are at Age of the Hammer. We're on Facebook. I'm going to post some pictures of the table on our Facebook page. That's just go to Facebook and look for Age of the Hammer. You'll find us. And lastly, you can email us at ageofthehammer@gmail.com. We love to hear from you. Give us a shout. And unless you guys got anything else,
Nope.
we'll talk to you next week. Until then, keep rolling dice.
The SGWA would like to thank you for listening. We would also like to mention our theme music, the classic O Fortuna, as recorded by the MIT Concert Choir and used under common license. The Age of the Hammer is upon us.